Hi everyone, welcome to Rike Sports Formula One. Today we're going to be previewing this weekend's upcoming Grand Prix in Turkey, the Turkish Grand Prix. I'm delighted to have on again Ollie from F1 Global. Hi Ollie, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me back on.
You're welcome. Great to have you on again. Really enjoyed the last video we done together. So that video was about the previous Grand Prix, which was the Imola Grand Prix. It didn't work out the race you were hoping for with a lot of incidents and stuff. It was kind of unfortunate because the track was so tight. As you were saying, the cars are so big. I don't think the drivers were taking that many risks. It ended up being a bit of just following each other more. Like as always, when Hamilton gets out in the lead, it's very hard for anyone to catch him. Bottas had a few issues. We know he had some floor damage. And then once he surrendered the lead to Hamilton, it was kind of race over and an easy win. But you did get one of your predictions, right? With a Renault on the podium, which was great. So that was something different. It's nice to see them up there. How did you find that last race?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. It was a bit of a procession. There were glimpses of, oh, this could be something when a safety car came out. But yeah, it was a Hamilton Bottas 1-2, like we've come to predict. And hey, between us, we got the race. We called it. We
Yeah,
called it between us. So one,
yeah,
two, three. I feel like we're 100% between us. We can claim that. But
yeah.
yeah, some good results to see on there. Kvyat obviously in fourth and Leclerc in fifth. Obviously, the both Alfa Romeos picking up points as well. So yeah, it was a good race. It's not going to be one people maybe remember, but it was a good race, and it did the job. I think that's the best way of doing it. It kept us entertained for a couple of hours, but it won't be one we'll talk about.
Yeah, for sure. Like I say, it was nice to be at a different track. That was a good thing nice to see the cars racing around these different tracks. And again, Hamilton won. So a big thing that did come from that weekend was Mercedes did seal the constructors championship. It was kind of inevitable. It was going to happen. Like they're so dominant, so far ahead of the rest, but it's such a magnificent achievement for what they've done. What are your thoughts on that?
It's just amazing, isn't it? I mean, I've got the results up here, and they finished 14 seconds ahead of Ricardo in third place after the field had bunched up that much. To me, that sums up how dominant this car is. That whole field was bunched up, a safety car, only a couple of laps left, and Hamilton pulled out a 14-second lead, a 5-second lead ahead of his teammate. So it's an amazing achievement. I'm really happy to be able to have seen it. But as we were sort of discussing briefly before this, I think everybody's ready for a little bit something different. And whether we'll get that next year or not, I don't know. But bring on 2022 and hopefully a real shake-up with these new regulations. But 7 world championships in a row for Mercedes, and I mean it's going to be 7 for Lewis as well. Sorry, not 7 in a row, 7 championships total for Lewis. But yeah, what an achievement! And even if you don't like it, you have to appreciate just the brilliance of it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. Like, it's great to see them doing so well, and really, we admire how great they're doing. But as fans, it'd be nice to see a bit more competitive action. So we hope Red Bull, Ferrari can up their game for next season. As you said, with the rules changing in 2022, that's more likely to be the time where we see more competitive racing. So let's see how it goes. Keep our hopes high for next season. There's still some great races to come this season. We've got the Turkish Grand Prix coming out. They've not been there for many years. Before we go into previewing that race, just going to talk a little bit about the news of the Formula One calendar for the next season coming out, the 2021 season. So a few interesting points there. There's a race for Saudi, first time they're going to have a Formula One race. And also the news about the Vietnam Grand Prix was meant to be on there originally as race 4, but they've taken it off. What's your thoughts on the calendar?
It's busy, isn't it? There's
Yeah.
a lot of races next season. I'm looking forward to it because we're fans. If you're a fan of any sport, you want more. And when teams aren't racing, when players aren't playing whatever sport, you want it on the telly. But it does look very busy. Yeah, the addition of Saudi Arabia. I mean, we'll see. We haven't seen obviously the layout of the track yet, so we can't really comment. And obviously there are other issues around going to Saudi Arabia, but money talks ultimately. But yeah, losing a race so early on, it was meant to be the 4th race in the calendar, was Vietnam is a real big shock. They're going to be in Shanghai before that, and then it's Barcelona afterwards. So I imagine we'll see another European race in there. Hopefully Portugal. maybe we'll see Imola again, but it just depends what deal they can strike, I guess, and if they can get a last minute one in there. It's not long until the 25th of April, so some deals will have to be struck very quickly. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually do secure a race.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just looking through the calendar now. It would be quite a big gap as well then from China into Spain. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to look to replace that. There's many options for this season. It'd be nice if they had some of the new tracks that all the tracks have gone back to after so many years this season, to have some of them in there next year. But as we say, money talks. It's kind of back to the usual calendar you would expect to see. But yeah, just looking at it, as you said, there's many races, so it's going to be super busy. And some of the highlights, we've got the UK race, Silverstone's 18th July. Looking forward to that one. Then Belgium, Hungary in between it. So that European middle season is always busy times before the summer break. But yeah, it looks quite normal. As we were saying, towards the end of the season, so the Saudi race is going to be just before this. It's the second last race before the Abu Dhabi race, which means the Brazil race will be the third last race. Always nice. We were discussing this earlier, to have the Brazil as the last race. So there's some amazing scenes there. We're seeing like Hamilton winning the
Is
title.
that Glock? Is that Glock?
Yeah, like before that with Raikkonen, we're talking about that in the last video we done as well. So yeah, it's kind of like money. I know money talks, but Brazil has been pushed back to now the third last race. So that's not ideal. But apart from that, as expected, anything stick out for you? Anything else stick out for you in the calendar?
To be honest, no, because it's what we've come to see and expect for the last couple of years. I've sort of thrown this idea about, I'd love them to have a sort of set 7, set 10 tracks, the classics, Silverstone, Monaco, Spa, Suzuka, Interlagos as well, which hopefully, as far as I understand, has signed a deal till 2025, which is really good news. I'd love them to have those sort of set tracks, and then we rotate if possible. That's an ideal world. Money talks, as we both know. So whether that had happened or not, who knows? But yeah, I mean, it's a good calendar. I think we've been spoiled, obviously, this year in some ways, having all these great different tracks, going back to Imola, having the Eiffel GP, going to Portimao, going to Mugello. We obviously didn't expect it as race fans, and so being given that extra bonus was really great. But yeah, I mean, it's the F1 calendar. I mean, it's back to normal. It might be a while till we see it all mixed up again. My worry is with Saudi Arabia, it's another street circuit, and there's a fair few sort of tight street circuits on there now. I'm looking at, Saudi Arabia, Singapore. Who else have we got on there? We've got Azerbaijan, obviously Monaco as well. Australia is technically a street circuit, but it's not. So I just hope these street circuits don't take away from the race quality. I know they can sometimes throw up a completely mad one, like Azerbaijan has done in the past, but there's always the possibility it could just be like Imola last weekend and just a procession. And like we've been saying, with the Mercedes dominance, it could just be a Hamilton-Bottas procession and the fights for third place and downwards. So yeah, I'm excited to see it, but yeah, it's just a long season. There's a couple of triple headers in there as well, so it's really going to be interesting to see how the drivers and teams do. They've had some practice this year with it, but we're taking it on to next year as well, it seems. So, yeah, it'll be exciting.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to have a short break with this season finishing mid-December, and we'll be back out for testing in February. So, yeah, it's going to be a short break, and action will get underway next season, 21st of March in Australia. The season will finish 5th of December in Abu Dhabi. So yeah, that's next year, but we still got the rest of this season to look forward to. So as we're talking about this weekend's the Turkish Grand Prix, so previewing that. Again, this is a big one in a way that it's the talking's all going to be about Will Hamilton's silver 7th World Championship. He's got the chance to do that. If he finishes first, he will do that. Even if he doesn't finish first, there's still a chance he can do it because Bottas has to win the race and get the fastest lap to finish 8 points ahead of Hamilton. So there's high chance that Hamilton will be seen in the championship this weekend, even if he doesn't win the race. So what are your thoughts on that?
He's going to win it this weekend, isn't he? He's going to win it this weekend. F1 put up a graphic today. Bottas, even if he wins it, Hamilton just needs second. Even if Bottas gets second and fastest lap, Hamilton needs fourth. If he comes 7th or lower. So if Bottas has an accident, if he gets taken out in turn 1, or if there's a safety car that messes up his race and he finishes lower than 7th, Hamilton wins it. So, I mean, you never say never. Anything could happen, but I think everybody knows Hamilton has won the title. I think everyone's probably known for a couple of weeks now. But yeah, I mean, I rate Bottas, but he's just no Lewis Hamilton, like we discussed last time. If you want a great Hamilton fan cast, obviously watch our last podcast. But yeah, we need to see maybe another driver next to Hamilton. But Bottas knows the car, he knows the team, so Mercedes aren't going to rock the boat when they can secure a definite 1-2 most weekends. So yeah. What are you thinking? Are you thinking Hamilton's got it as well, or are you maybe thinking we can push it back?
I don't think Bottas is going to win. I just think I feel disappointed in Bottas. Like, I respect him as a driver. He's a world-class driver, but I feel like he's had many opportunities this season where, he could have taken the fight to Hamilton, and he's not managed to do it. He's been a bit unlucky here and there. He had an engine problem a few races back, when he had pole in that race. Even in his last race, he had pole. He had some floor damage. But there's been occasions where it comes to wheel-to-wheel racing, when it comes to the race pace, he just doesn't seem to have what Hamilton has. He's pushed him in qualifying. They're being really tight, and we know how fast to qualify Hamilton. So Bottas does have that one lap pace. He's definitely got the speed, but he's just not consistent with it. And to win a world championship, especially against someone like Lewis Hamilton, you have to be super consistent. So maybe, hopefully, he could add that to his game. But when you look at it now, he's been at Mercedes for a fair few years, not really managed to do it. So I don't see anything changing. And my personal opinion is that for the sake of the sport, I reckon Mercedes should have got rid of him, okay, for next season, and said, let's bring someone else in, even if it's not a superstar, not an Alonso, just another young driver who is, got the potential to challenge Hamilton later down the line, let that guy get some experience in the car. And, I think Bottas has had his chance. That's my opinion. What do you think about that?
I can't say I disagree. I mean, Mercedes have got to look beyond Hamilton now, surely. Like,
Exactly.
contract's not signed. There's questions maybe if he'll want to stay past 2021, end on a high, end with a guarantee of probably another world title and a world title winning car, and, no mixing it up into new regulations. Because that's what happened with McLaren. You think of 2008 to 2009, the drop off there was just astronomical. So will he want to potentially risk that again? I don't think so. So yeah, I agree with you. It was a bit strange when they signed Bottas. I mean, I get it, I really do, but you've got other drivers there. You've got George Russell, who's part of the Mercedes program. I know, there are actually some questions around him, really, but you could have given him a 1-year deal. He would have snapped it up, and they may have been able to at least start the search for a successor. Yeah, I just don't see Bottas being there longer than 2021. So why bother keeping him for 2020? Why not try something different? But he's consistent, and that's what Mercedes want from him. They want him to finish second behind Hamilton every race, don't they? So
yeah, after that Rosberg, they talk about it. That was a very difficult time for them. So I can see with their point of view in that, but as I say, from the point of view of the sport as fans, and even if they were thinking it from a slightly different point of view, as you say, give a younger driver a chance. I'm sure that even if he was inconsistent, they're still going to win the Constructors' Championship next year quite comfortably. Like we've seen this year, they're winning it comfortably. So even if that young driver they gave a chance wasn't that consistent, I'm still very confident that next season, without the rules changing that much, we're going to see much of a difference. But they're the decision makers. They made that decision, and let's just hope Red Bull can close the gap, because that's the only way we're going to see, or maybe Ferrari is a long shot, but that's the only way we're going to see a title battle next season. And it's been a few years now that it's been Hamilton quite comfortably. So as much as it's nice to see the dominance of a driver and a team after some time, as we saw in the Schumacher era, it is nice if they can have some more competition to win the title, because that's what we're all here to watch at the end of the day, to see who's going to be the world champion at the end of the season. So yeah, unfortunately, very early in this season, it's going to be wrapped up this weekend. We both agree on that. So we're going for Hamilton to win. Just looking at the track, so they've not raced here since 2011. And it was a really nice track. I remember watching it back in them days. And Massa done really well. He won it like 3 years in a row. And Hamilton's won there, Vettel's won there, but not many of the current drivers have seen the track, and the teams themselves have not been there for like nearly 10 years. So that could throw up a few variables. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, there's 5 drivers who've driven there. I think it's obviously Hamilton, like we said, and Vettel. Raikkonen, obviously, because he's been in the sport now for far too long, it feels like. Um, Ricardo, we got baby Ricardo. I think it was driving for HRT back in 2011, and Perez when he was, I think, either at Sauber or Early Force India. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to turn 8. I mean, I was watching clips earlier of Mark Webber in, I think it was 2012, 2013 in the qualifying, just flooring it round turn 8 in that Red Bull. And Kubica said in his track guide for this weekend that these cars are going to be absolutely flat out round turn 8, even on race fuel. So it's going to be fast. I think it's going to be a really fast lap, actually. It's a great track. Obviously, lots of drama there in the past, Vettel Webber back in 2010, I think it was, or yeah, back in 2010. Hamilton Button obviously had a big battle there one year. Obviously, Button winning in Brawn. I think that was actually his last win for Brawn before they couldn't upgrade the car, because of costs. So yeah, I'm really excited for it actually. So yeah, I think it'll be good. We looked at the weather forecast, didn't we? And there's a 40% chance of rain on Saturday and Sunday, so it's going to be a bone dry race. Now we've said that, but yeah, if a bit of rain kicked up, that'd be great. I think a lot of the drivers not knowing the track is really good. Kvyat said he hadn't had a chance in the simulator this weekend, so maybe another couple of drivers haven't as well. So yeah, there could be a couple of mistakes that may mix it up, but I think we're probably both predicting the same thing, which is a Hamilton Bottas 1-2. But we'll see what that fight for third place is like, which is a bit sad, but is what it is.
Well, hopefully, yeah, if the rain can come and mix things up a little bit, but we know how strong Lewis is in the rain. As we saw early in the season, like that guy's amazing in the rain. We've seen it all through his career, so I don't think that would be a hindrance to him. But so yeah, definitely going for Hamilton to win. For second, I'm going to go for Verstappen. Right.
Okay, mixing it up. I like it.
A little bit this time. I think Verstappen going to beat Bottas. I think he'll qualify third. So before the start of qualifying, I think it will be Hamilton qualifying pole, Bottas second, Verstappen third, and then in the race, I'm going to go for Hamilton to win it, Verstappen to go second, and Bottas to go third. So kind of boring. The only real change from a Mercedes monopoly of 1-2 is Verstappen. I think he's going to pit Bottas to second place. But yeah, behind that, I'm hoping for some chaos, hoping for a lot of rain, spinning safety cars, and yeah, we see a great race, at least a brilliant midfield battle. And yeah, what's your thoughts?
Yeah.
What's your predictions for qualifying and the race?
I can't disagree with the qualifying. I think 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's pretty standard to see that. So I agree with you on that. On the race, I think I'm going Hamilton Bottas. Just to mix it up, I'm going to put Sergio Perez in for third. He should have got the podium last weekend. That was an awful decision by the team. He could have got third, but he's looked so strong this season, and he wants that podium. I think he obviously wants to prove a point before he goes, and if he got a podium, that would certainly do that. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Sergio Perez for third place. It won't happen now. He'll be Verstappen, but I'll put my neck out there, I guess, a little bit. It's not really a big prediction or a bold one, but yeah, Perez for third.
Yeah, let's hope we see an interesting race. It's going to at the time. It's going to be a little bit earlier this race. It's out in Turkey, so they're 3 hours ahead of us. So instead of the usual afternoon slots that we've been seeing, the 1-2 p.m. starts, it's going to be this one a little bit earlier, 10 past 10. And we'll practice one's going to be earlier as well, starting at 8 a.m. And then looking through qualifying is going to be on Saturday at 12. So yeah, a little bit of an early one. But yes, as we're saying, this season's all been about Hamilton and Mercedes, and he should be wrapping up the World Championship this weekend and equaling Michael Schumacher's record. Great achievement. We're all looking forward to that. Ollie, thank you so much for coming on the show once again. Look forward to having you back on again soon.
Thank you for having me, and yeah, can't wait.
Great. Take care. And for all my viewers, please remember to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.